Remote work and communities for remote workers, digital nomads, are a global trend for a lot of years. And there's one guy I discovered as kind of an architect of this culture and this movement, at least a very influencing person. And I'm really happy to have him here. And this is Goncalo Hall, which I really appreciate that you have found time and that we can speak together to that great development and your part on it.
Thank you so much, Stefan. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm very excited for this conversation.
Happy welcome. So I found or discovered your name, you as a person, around the Madeira Nomad Village, which is probably the first big development you really created. But before we step in deeper in this history, I would like, it's just the change of the year, the new year started, and that normally is a good opportunity to calm down, to reflect what was the main important thing in the last years, and probably what's the main goal for the future. And I would like to go directly deep in that and ask you, if you think on 2026 and the next future, what is the most important mission you feel for yourself or vision you see for the future of work?
I think there are two things for myself personally, was understanding exactly what I do, because the global thing that I do is very unique and there is not many people that do the same as I do, which is think about the whole ecosystem to attract people. So the first question I spent 2 weeks answering myself was, who am I, what I actually do, what can I name myself? And I reached the goal that I should call myself a destination architect, because that's what I do. I design destinations to the point that we need to have a gym, where people go, how people behave, how people connect, and to the whole promotion. So the first thing I had to go was to this internal journey to understand exactly what I was doing, so I could express myself to the world in a much better way. And now I know this, now I have a newsletter around that. I'm talking about my experience that, so it's for me very important to clarify myself. What am I actually doing? Because there are not many people like me in the world. Around the world, what I really feel is that we, because of remote work, can now work in places surrounded by communities that we love. And I think now that things are stabilizing, even though we have AI, nobody knows what stabilizing is. It's kind of a word nowadays. But the reality is that if we can work remotely, we can work in places surrounded by the people we like and the experiences we seek. So, for example, I'm Portuguese, I'm from Lisbon. I really love to live next to salt water. This is very important to me. This is part of my happiness. I tried everything, but personally, I really need to be connected and swim at least once a week. And so I am always seeking and building destinations that are usually close to the water and underdeveloped, and where I can have activities. Like here, I'm in Roatan, in Honduras right now, in the Caribbean island. I don't have waves, but I do have diving and I can swim. And I was yesterday swimming with my baby and my wife. And so I'm always looking for places that fulfill myself because I can work remotely. I think we all will have the chance to do the same. Move to places not because our jobs and our offices are there, but because there is something we love. It may be the mountains, it may be a sport, it may be a great school. Remote work gives us the freedom, and I think more and more we are moving to villages specifically, seeking for this kind of lifestyle.
Very good. So this is such a global view. I just want to stick with that global perspective before we go deeper, because that's just what I find so really interesting and what I'm looking at, what I'm recognizing of your work. Because when I started research for my book on workation, one of my most important things is in former times we had to work where our company, where our employer was, and that was the place to live because of the work. And if we can work wherever we want, why don't we work at some places that we love? And that's just the same idea you just explained. And I think a lot of people haven't really realized which impact and how far this idea can go. And I think you are probably one of the most increased thinker on that and doer too. And if you go further in this development, what could you see? What is the biggest picture you can see how people organize their work when the loved places at the sea, in the mountains, wherever, is the really reason to go somewhere and not the place where your employer is.
I think it's a big change from
picture?
this work-centric mentality that we had, where we had to move to cities to have access to jobs. We had to leave our communities behind, other people we grew up to, many times our families as well, older parents that stay alone in the villages, to move to a place just because our office was there. And that's kind of, it's a growth experience, yet it's also traumatic as well, as you have to rebuild your social life from scratch. I really believe that it doesn't have to be that way. And what I see right now, and to be fair, I think we as a movement are not doing a great job. By that I mean that most villages didn't understand how to actually attract remote workers. Most villages, mayors don't understand the potential of this market. Or if they do, they don't actually take the actions to attract this kind of people, because you need to take the action. It is not the €1 house, it's actually way more than that, as I'm sure we'll speak in the future. But I see people willing to change. Honestly, everyone I speak to that works remotely is seeking to change, to live in a better community. They really seek community. It's the number one thing that people seek. More than the ocean. I would move to a place without an ocean if the community is great. I will suffer a little bit, but I would go there. So what we are seeing is that people are working remotely. We are close to our laptops 8 to 10 hours a day. Every time we are not on our laptops, what we are seeking is community, the sense of belonging, which is a big part of longevity. It's more than studied that if we feel we belong to something bigger than ourselves, we live longer and we live happier. So I believe that more than ever today, because of automation, because of AI, because we live our day in our laptops, once we close our laptops, we are seeking community. And that's the biggest trend I see. Not everybody understands it, but that's what most people are seeking.
And of course, I think this is another kind of community. It's different to the community you have in one company or in your own village. So I grew up on a small village, so I know the village lifestyle. But if you have people, like-minded people with the same lifestyle or the love for the sea or for diving, then you have probably another quality of community, and that's just, I suppose, what you're building.
Yes, and it's beautiful, honestly, when you connect with people, even if they are entrepreneurs, for example, or if they are, I don't know, if you have a group of designers and they are in the same community in a village of 500 people, they will connect, they will have the same conversations, and those 5 people will be happier than everybody else because they found their people inside the smaller community.
Is it? Oh, that's really dangerous because there's so many ideas. Is there already a part of, let's say, a community of designers or software developers or AI specialists? Let's say it's an AI village at the sea or on an island somewhere. Is such a specialized community already?
No, not yet. I think it's going to happen not so specialized. I think it's going to happen for entrepreneurs, for sure, because we have a special kind of mindset. I think it will happen for nomad or remote work families. So I don't think that the job will be the main connector. I think the way of life and our main attributes will be the main connector in the future. So I see completely a village of entrepreneurs. Right now I'm looking for a village for nomad families or remote work families, ideally where one of the parents is an entrepreneur, because I like both things. Yeah. I think it will happen. Just somebody needs to build it.
I think that's a very interesting trend, and it must happen. So if you just think further on, it's no alternative, I think. But then let us start with your first project, the Madeira Nomad Village. I discovered this, I think, a lot of years ago when I found some pioneering nomad ideas, and then I saw there is a whole village for digital nomads. I never managed to go to Madeira, unfortunately, but I heard a lot of it, and you're really it was your initiative, I thought, and I learned. And just take us a little bit on this journey. What happened there and what developed over those years? I think that's a perfect idea, or a perfect example to show a little bit what is possible for a region.
100%. I think the irony of all is that I actually designed this project for Italy. So I went in Erasmus Plus project to Italy And I was in a village in the mountains of Italy called Penabilli. I still think about it because it's a beautiful place in the mountains of Italy. It suffers with the population like all the other villages. But it had this really strong mindset around art. And I was there for 10 days in this Erasmus Plus project. And that's where I designed a program to attract people to live in the villages of Italy through remote work. And that whole concept was we need to build a community. We need to make it as easy as possible for people to move here. So find houses that are for sale, find people for renovation, like almost like a concierge service, plus connect people once they arrive, have an onboarding system, make sure that they connect with each other, make sure that they meet the people. The first month is kind of a make it or break it kind of situation. I designed the whole project to develop villages in Italy. Then we went to speak with the government. This was 2018, I think. Then we went to speak with the government. They say, oh, this looks great. Yeah, but nobody wanted to pay for it. So I just put it on my notes and I never developed it. Then COVID came. Everybody went to work remotely by force. Islands like Madeira stopped their main economic growth engine, which was tourism. It still is. And they were looking for alternatives. So they invited me to go there. I was organizing a remote work conference remotely. And they invited me to go there and actually do it from there. I haven't been to Madeira for a long time. So I got there and I was like, wow, this place is beautiful. It looks like Jurassic Park. It's tropical, yet it's part of Portugal somehow. The climate is really mild. I was like, this place is perfect. I went to Bali, I went to Thailand. I never went to this place that's just 1 hour from Lisbon because I never thought it could be a destination for myself. And so I was saying this to the Secretary of Economy. He was opening my conference and said, you have this huge opportunity in your hands. I developed this project. It's ready to implement. The idea is to attract digital nomads through community, build a community center, like a co-working space, and develop the whole thing based on this space and this idea of people will travel between communities. And the crazy thing is that he believed me, which is unheard of. So I was just a guy with shirts and t-shirts, still am. And he believed me enough to pay for the project and to implement the project. So 2 months later, I was with the contract signed. I was landing in Madeira. We were selecting the village. We selected Ponta do Sol for many reasons. And we had an empty space that we transformed in a co-working space. It was a room in the cultural center that we transformed in a free co-working space for the community, which is really, really important. And then we just started promoting it. We had zero budget for marketing, so I just used my LinkedIn, my social media. I went to all podcasts that you could imagine. I went all over the media, and it worked. 1st of February 2020, we had, 25 people. By May, we had more than 2,000, and it never stopped. So it fluctuates, of course. People go in the low season, which is great for Madeira as well, and it never stopped. So what happened now 5 years later is that many companies ended up moving there because Madeira has a free economic zone. So many companies, the foreign direct investment grew a lot because people went there to remote work and eventually learned, oh, there is this incredible tax advantage. So they ended up moving their businesses there as well. People bought houses, people moved families. Many, many people ended up moving there. So now, 5 years later, we saw that it had a huge impact on social development, in internationalization of the destination, new kinds of tourism. Madeira was very elderly tourism. Right now, it's a lot young tourism, so it changed completely the profile of tourists that goes to Madeira, all the way to foreign direct investment. So I see it as a funnel, we have tourists, the remote workers, digital nomads, people who move, expats, foreign direct investments, and eventually this becomes a whole ecosystem. So that's where I ended up in Madeira. Eventually, I left the project. They said the project was done, and I left, and I kept building in other destinations.
That's really great because it's just. Do you have any figures? Because I think that's a huge impact for the city and for the region.
We had around 20,000 digital nomads going there every year. That's the thing we could measure to our registrations and several points of contact. We had around 30 million direct impact, million euros direct impact in the economy. This calculation is just number of nomads times average spend, which was 1,800 euros, which is not too much. But it doesn't account the companies that move, it doesn't account in the houses that were sold. So it's just money spent in the economy by the digital nomads that moved there.
Yeah. So that's a really huge impact. And I normally told it starts with a cappuccino and it ends probably with new companies. And
So sorry, I have to interrupt you because after the meeting, the Secretary of Economy, I ended up meeting the president. So the Secretary of Economy told me, you have to meet the president. And then he told me the story that he called the president and said, there is this crazy guy that wants to do this, this, and that. You have to receive him. Oh, but who is it? What does he want? You have to receive him. Okay, I'll receive him tomorrow. Okay. But you don't do it in the meeting room. Make it outside with poncha, which is a traditional drink, beers, and honey cake. I was like, what the hell? Who is this person? Trust me. So when I got to the presidential palace, I was received not in the meeting room, but outside by the president with honey, with poncha, with juices. And that's how they welcomed me. And that's how they convinced me to do the project there. Just because it connected, you said around the cappuccino. It was like, yes, actually it was very similar with the cappuccino, just poncha instead.
Yeah. And it's such an obvious development. And you told me the same. A lot of people with responsibility for a region just don't see this and don't act in the right way, and that's unbelievable sometimes. But would it have been possible without the tax-free zone, to be honest?
The foreign direct investment less, because Portugal is not very friendly for investment in general. Mm-hmm. So I would say everything else, yes, people would still move there. Digital nomads would still visit, would still stay there. I would think we'll never have the conversion for foreign direct investment we had without the free economic zone.
Okay, because sometimes people speak about the sun and the water, and in reality, it's the tax system or the tax-free opportunities. So this part of the honest view on those things. And now for you, that's just developed as a business model, and you really create communities and regions, and are a consultant for regions and governments. And we can't talk about every of your communities, but I would like to have a look at what are the success factors, what are the strategies you recommend, and probably a few examples from other parts of the world where you can say they do smart things to attract the right people and to create an economic growth by digital nomads and remote workers.
It's interesting because nobody is doing it fully right, sadly, because I share in public everything I know. So I was expecting 5 years later that people would just copy me, but they never copy me. And it's very saddening somehow. They copy the wrong things, they don't copy the right things, which is the whole system. So I think a region needs to have certain basics. And the first thing I think about when I go to a place is, what is the experience here? So if I move here, what will be my day-to-day life? Which activities do I have? How fast is the internet? Where will I work from? Where will I live? Is there a school for my kid? Because now I have a kid as well. So this is the first thing. Anywhere I go, it's automatic for me. It's the first thing I look. I look around. Okay, how is life here? Would I live here for 2, 3, 4 months? Mm-hmm. And if not, usually it's because there is no gym, there is no co-working space, or it's not easy to get a house. So I always look for the experience. So we need to fix the experience before we even start promoting or thinking about something else. For example, in Ponta do Sol, we didn't have a co-working space. Okay, which 3 buildings do we have from the city hall? We have this building in the cultural center. Cool. Can we do a co-working space there? Yes, we basically did an order to IKEA, 20 tables, 20 chairs. I made sure we had monitors, I think 8 monitors, and we made a co-working space. Mm-hmm. And then, okay, do people here rent housing for digital nomads? No, only for tourists. Never heard about digital nomad in their lives. Okay, so we do workshops for the locals to actually tell them what is a digital nomad, what needs they have. They are different from traditional tourists, so that the locals adapt and make money out of our community. We did the same for restaurants. Like many digital nomads, I would say 25% remote workers, digital nomads are vegetarians or prefer to a plant-based diet. In the data, we had no, or at least in Ponta do Sol, we had no vegetarian restaurants. Okay, how can we adapt? Mm-hmm. So we did workshops. We took nomads to the restaurants. They told feedback. They tried out. They gave feedback. And now one of the best restaurants, which is Steak and Sun, actually has a vegan menu as well, besides even being a steakhouse, So all those little things really matter. And then it's a lot about what will people do. So for me, it's important nowadays, everybody's into longevity and wellness. Okay, we do have to have a gym. We do have to have sports, whatever it is. Right now, paddle, for example, is huge. So I will really see what will people do after work. And then it's all about community and promotion. I think we also promote these projects very poorly. Like Italy, for example, does a lot of PR stunts, like €1 house. when we should be promoting who is there and why people should move there. It's a lot about who is there, what will I do. That's what people want to see. So if you go to see our videos of Madeira, for example, what we share is all the activities, is people, who will be there, and what will I do? Those are the two questions we keep answering for digital nomads, which is kind of top of the funnel for remote workers as well. And ideally, you are connected with the government and you have access to promotion, you have access to the mayor, which is really helpful for PR and for PR stunts as well. But that's it. Then you have a community manager, which is the most important person, and they connect the community. Their job is to create events, connect the community, onboard people to the community. We created some rituals, for example, even until today, 5 years later, they still have every Wednesday a community lunch. So every Wednesday people come down, they go to a restaurant and they have lunch together. No matter if it's raining, no matter if it's Christmas, this happens every single time. So we start creating rituals to build a community, we created events, and it's still going. I left almost 2 years ago and it's still going because somebody took over.
I would like just to go a little bit deeper there, because in my way of doing Workation, I don't need anyone, because I connect quite easy. I find my people I would like to make interviews or doing some research or just to have fun, and I don't have the time to stay longer and to really get in a community. But I think that's not the typical remote worker. And what do you experience? What think people in touristic regions, mayors, economic developers, people from hotels, what are their mistakes thinking on digital nomads, and what do they really need to be attracted?
I think digital nomads for the tourism industry, it's a lot about the low season. So nomads usually don't travel in the high season. We travel in shoulder seasons, sometimes in low season if it's not too bad. And so that's the first thing. The second thing is, for example, for a hotel, the F&B money is much more interesting than the rental. So imagine I work with hotels in the south of Portugal. They will charge like $2,000, 2,000 euros. Sorry, I'm in the US right now. They will charge 2,000 euros per month, which is way below their usually day rate. Yet, because I will live there, they will make way more money from F&B. Like I don't want to go out or have to cook when I'm working, so probably I'll have lunch there almost every day. They'll make money with coffee because, again, I don't want to leave. I'll probably make money with the coffee. So the smart way is, yes, cover your expenses or more or less, or make some money with the room, but make sure that the F&B is accessible or you have discounts, because as a remote worker, I would eat there for lunch almost every day. So now as a family, if you have a playground for kids and everything, my family will be much happier. I'll be working, I don't have to worry, and we can eat there, the three of us. Like I ended up spending 5,000 euros instead of 2,000, even though I only paid 2,000 for the hotel. So for the hotels, it's a no-brainer if we'll adapt. How they have to adapt, which was the second question. Basically, we need kitchen. We cook something, and these nomads don't want to eat out every single time. We need a working space. We need good internet. In an ideal world, again, like you said, Stefan, and very well, it's not for everyone. You should have some kind of community, maybe yoga classes in the morning, maybe try to do some activities. Sports works really, really well to connect people. But if you have the basics to bring remote workers, honestly, a monitor that costs 120 euros will make more for the sales of your hotel to this market than most of the things that you'll try to promote and to ads. Put a monitor in the room, put a mouse and a keyboard, and trust me, people, nomads, remote workers will come. We are basic people. We have basic needs.
And a good chair. And
yes,
a lot
please.
of cable and adapters and all those stuff. Yeah. And I'm interested. So normally, if you have a hotel or a few people trying to offer things for digital nomads and remote workers, that's the one thing. But you emphasize the importance of the community. And is there the part of concierge, community manager, a part of the offer, or probably the one who sells the experience? Or how is the business model in regions who really succeed with this development?
I personally think that all villages that want to attract people, not just nomads, remote workers, people to live there, should and will have a community manager. I believe in this. I think it's going to be a position inside the city hall to have a community manager. And I know this because the most successful city in the world doing this, Tulsa in the US, they have a whole team to create events, do onboarding, make sure that people connect. So when you move to Tulsa, before you move to Tulsa, you have a dinner with the people who also move there through their program, Remote Tulsa. And then they do events every month. They have a co-working space for the people who move there. It's a free co-working space. So if you go through the program, you have a free co-working space. They give you $10,000, which is just for convincing if you are selected to move there. But that's the marketing budget in the end of the day. What really, really matters for the people move there. And if you see all the interviews, is I met the people here and I felt connected. So I decided to move here. And it's incredible. And it's people that usually work remotely, usually from big companies. And it's beautiful. And it's all about this process they have, the people they hired for this program, that make sure that you have the onboarding, that make sure you, once you land there, you have a dinner with other people that move there, that make sure that you go to a co-working space where the people are. This is so important. In Europe, I don't know anyone doing this.
And it's such a small investment compared to the long-term impact of that. But can you give us a few examples, in different sizes all around the world? You know a lot of those regions, governments, countries. Just give us a few ideas of really good examples in a different scale.
Well, I think Tulsa is the best one in terms of moving people there. Everything they did, I had 2 interviews with the 2 general managers they have. I did one with the previous one and now I did one with this one. And I always learn. It's one of my favorite examples. I see, in terms of marketing, Brazil and Rio de Janeiro is doing an incredible job. Brazil is investing a lot. Embratur, the tourism board of Brazil, is doing a lot to attract remote workers there. They just had this last year, in 2025, a record year on tourism, and Rio created the program. They hired me to create a program for that, where we hired a full-time community manager to develop events there. But the city is huge, so it's really, really hard, to be honest. Not many cities are doing this. So from the city level, it's very hard to tell the good examples. I know people doing this by themselves as communities. Like there is a guy in the south of Spain, Rural, Rooral, is developing a community in a village in the south of Spain with the local community, and it's an incredible success case. I know community managers developing by themselves, rarely with the support of the community, which is really strange to me, that the city doesn't just embrace them and pay them and make sure they just 10x their impact. There are not many cities doing this well. This is the sad, honest truth. Or the city wants, but they never hire anyone. Like, I don't know, like Cordoba is a great example in Argentina. They have everything, yet they want to attract people. They created the program, but they never hired anyone to actually be there and develop and connect all the dots and do the promotion, etc. I can tell you more examples from cities that want but missed something and they never did it fully than the ones that succeeded suddenly.
Okay, and on the country level,
I really like the case study of Estonia, but it's interesting because they succeeded at a really good level for foreign direct investment. Everything they did was perfect to help people organize and create companies there. They created a community out of that, but they didn't fully succeed into turning them into residents because they didn't build a community. Which country is doing it well? Portugal, but by accident. Again, it was not the country who did well. There was 3 community managers, my company included, that started developing a community, and then Portugal created a visa for digital nomads quite early. So we were successful, but by accident. Spain was successful because people were building the community and then they just served. I don't think there is a country that did this properly. I think Paraguay is growing and it's going to be an interesting place. I think Argentina was growing and now it's a little bit unstable, but I think it's going to be a very incredible place. Brazil is investing a lot in this. At the country level, usually the community comes first, then they invest. That's what happened with Portugal and all the others.
So I'm just heading to Vietnam, to Da Nang in a few weeks. And in doing my research, I found that they really attract people to live there. And they have the slogan, talent as a service from the beach. And so like I've found out there should be some 10,000 people working remotely from there. But I'm not really sure how big it really is, but I will find out and do some interviews and from there.
Da Nang is an interesting case. Sorry to interrupt you. I was there in 2019 because it was supposed to be the new Chiang Mai. And Chiang Mai was the capital of nomads for many years. And Da Nang was supposed to be the new Chiang Mai. So I went there too early. And there was not many people there. I learned since last year, many more people selected Da Nang because it's next to the beach. It has some people, usually because the cost of living is really, really low. It's incredibly low. There is a festival there. I'm not sure who is developing the community. I don't see the city really investing in it. I think it's a mix of people that are doing it for so many years that then the city noticed and now they are doing something, especially because of the conference. But it's an interesting case study as it was always to be developed, it was always to be big, and only last year they actually grew exponentially. Very, very interesting case.
Okay, I will tell you when I come back. That's probably interesting. And then when we make the picture a little bit even bigger, so of course it was the nomads, the mostly self-employed nomads in the first hand, and then you told me it's more and more the employed people. And if you look at the global development, so we have the trend to remote and hybrid work. We have AI as a new development, which probably changes something. And of course, we have a global competition on talents and on economic strength. And the question is just, will companies change their places and go completely, for example, to India or to the Philippines? Or are people really going to places they love? What trends do you see when you look at the really big picture on global work market?
I see more and more people leaving their jobs and starting and working for smaller companies. I think meaning is more important than ever for people. And I really see many people going from big corporates to small startups or small companies because they are seeking that meaning. So I see big companies having more and more trouble to hire more experienced people. They have to throw way more money because meaning, more than ever, is huge. I think since COVID as well. Other trend I see is also people just leaving their jobs to start their companies. People like myself, fully ADHD, I always struggle because I don't code. And now we can do pretty much everything with AI, AI as a co-founder. So now, even though I'm alone, I have an army of AI partners that can do all the things I hate for me. And this is just starting. I don't think it's going to be next year, but I think this is the decade of AI. And I think in 5 years, it's going to be very plausible to just run companies alone.
I just have to interrupt you because I had
Please.
one interview with a future scientists, and he had a thesis I don't agree at all. He told me everyone who can work in a home office in the moment or at a beach, all those jobs will be done by AI, and I'm sure that's not the reality.
It would be great.
the other way around, probably.
Yeah, because what we see is that AI by itself is very sloppy. People by itself, what's really, really working is people are becoming managers of AI. So AI works as a base employee, even with myself. And what AI does, I have to overview, I have to improve. AI can do most of the time 70% of the job very decently. It cannot do a great job. And what's happening is the other way around. For example, when I see a post on Instagram, on LinkedIn, that is clearly written by AI, the status of that person for me just goes from an 8 to a 7 to a 5 automatically. I don't care if he's an expert. It's happening a lot with an expert in economy right now on Facebook. I see a lot what he writes. It's clearly bad ChatGPT. It's terrible. Yeah. The ideas are there, but it just posted ideas on ChatGPT and it's just spitting. And so I think status, we all live in a status game, one way or the other. Humanity, proof of humanity will just increase your status by far. So when you are writing, proof of humanity, especially when it's your idea, is going to be huge. When you are creating the proof of humanity, I have a guy, Stephen Barrett from Diary of the CEO, he's doing typos on purpose to prove that it's him writing the posts. That's how bad it is. I think we'll have a better system. But I think more than ever, proof of humanity equals status, and we are all playing a status game.
Yeah. Okay, I'm with you. That's I think that's true. But another point of view: if you have those global labor market, and then there is no language issue anymore because we have such a great AI translation. So it's not a difference for a lot of jobs if someone in the US, in the middle of Europe, in Vietnam, in the Philippines, or somewhere else is doing that job. And the question for me is just, will the companies and the value creation go to the poorer or the cheaper areas on the world, and people can stay there, increasing their work and their income, and it's getting more and more the same level all over the world, and the richer countries have to lose of their income situation? Or what development do you see? Because in the old world, we would have thought we have to migrate people to richer countries to do the work. They don't find enough talents anymore. And now the work can go on the work can travel without the people. So the work can go to the people.
Yeah, and offshore is not new. We are talking about this and jobs going to Vietnam and to Asia for a long, long time. Yet very few people with higher degree jobs actually lost their job because the job went to India or whatever. But I think it will happen. I think it's a little bit of what you said plus. So I think definitely a person in India right now has a more plain level field than it had before, by far. They can access jobs they couldn't access before, which is great. They can stay. I think Africa is going to be the biggest winner of all this, personally. So people can stay in Africa, develop their economies, live in their culture, grow their culture, be happy. Like we in Europe are a little bit more depressed. I would love to live in Africa and be happier if I had the whole infrastructure and actually work from there, and keep their money there. But I also see that culture matters, and you work a lot with the culture side. So I see more and more companies as sports teams. Sports teams, if you're in Germany, you have a mix of cultures, yet you still have a core culture in the team. Not always is the core team of the home country, but sometimes it's Porto, which is my team. Sometimes you had 5 Colombians, and they set the culture. But you always want to have a more aligned culture. What happens is not just the language. What happens when you have such a spread out culture-wide company is that the communication becomes harder. Not the language, but the habits, the culture is different. So I still think that most people would prefer to build a company with people like them. It doesn't know what this means. People from Africa will probably build within people from Africa because they have a specific culture. I couldn't sell. I'm a marketer. I couldn't sell for anyone in Africa. I don't know their culture. So, if I would try to enter Nigeria, I would need a team there because they know better than myself. So I really think that when I'm designing a team, I'm thinking about almost this sports culture. How can I integrate these people? How can we be a high-performance team? How can this culturally actually work? So I think there is way more to a job than just the output. There is this, we can put 11 players together and they will play a terrible game. But you can put 11 average players together and they'll be a dream team, So I think the culture will matter. And the culture will be a breaking point for many companies more than ever, which is great for you.
Yeah, very, very interesting. But of course, you have the development on the one hand, which is not really friendly for people from other cultures. So when I see the developments in a lot of countries, unfortunately, and you have other people thinking more globally and thinking culture is a question of lifestyle, of values, and not of nationality. And we have the chance to work really globally together on the one hand. On the other hand, we have kind of a backslash and not a really migration-friendly culture in some countries. We just experienced that in Germany. We really would need to be so guest-friendly that we get the right people for the work we are not able to do with the talents we have in the country. And we do the other way around in the moment. So what is your point of view on which kind of societies or communities will develop and who can win on that?
I think I was just thinking, you were talking about that, I was just thinking about Costa Rica. Costa Rica is interesting because they develop their culture from the schools to welcome foreigners because they really understand that the money will come from foreigners, usually Americans, for the good and for the worse. So you rarely see Costa Ricans talk about things about tourism like you see in Portugal and Spain right now. You rarely see talking bad about foreigners because they understand that the money they bring is really, really important. So they learn that it's a good way to develop their country. And then we have on the other side, I think education is going to be so important. Just thinking about my country, Portugal, who had this huge trend as well against foreigners, but only against poor foreigners, which is very interesting. And sometimes against digital nomads and remote workers, but very scarcely. And usually when I speak with these people, are usually the less educated people. The higher educated people want remote workers to come to Portugal and people from the world because they really want to live in a place where they have access to a multitude of cultures and people. They want to live in a place where Germans, Americans, Africans, Asians live, because this gives you the world without having to move from your place. This is the opinion of mostly of the educated people. The least educated people see it as a threat, which probably it is because they're doing the less qualified jobs, and these people come to do the less qualified jobs as well. But I think it's also a lack of education, especially in Portugal. We don't have financial education at all. Zero. We don't know about finances. We don't know how finances work. We know we have that in our country. That's pretty much it. So I really see this. It's very interesting. Although there are contra trends like in the US where supposedly the richer people are the most against immigration nowadays, I really see immigration as a net positive if you do it well. I do think Europe messed it up in the last 10 years. I think we just opened the doors without any qualification. Yeah. But if we see the countries developing really well today are the ones who really understand immigration and foreign direct investment. Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Singapore, they are 100% pro-immigration. They depend on immigration. Yet, Australia is a good one. Yet they qualify all the immigration. Okay, how many I don't know, construction works do we actually need? How many people to the hospitals? Okay, we need nurses now. So in the next 10 years, we'll accept 10,000 nurses. They're very smart on how they do immigration. I think the mistake of Europe that's going to be very, very expensive in political terms and societal terms is that we just open the doors. We need people.
Yeah.
I was speaking with the Secretary of Labor, the Minister of Labor in Portugal, and she told me this. We need more people to work in Portugal. The hotels cannot hire. We'll just open the doors to immigration. I was like, that sounds good. It wasn't, because they just opened the doors to everyone. Doesn't matter if the hotels are still struggling to hire, yet we have like 1 million more people in Portugal.
And you don't have a match with the talents needed.
Yeah.
With the skills.
So I think thoughtful immigration is going to be huge in the future.
So a lot of topics which should we talk longer about that. But I would like to go on your actual place. So I learned you were in Brazil and are engaged there on the building the community there. But now you're in Roatan, which is a very special and I think another increase of the idea of a community. And probably you should give a little idea what's the special aspects there. So
it's very interesting. I came here on purpose for this project. So in Roatan, we have a project called Prospera, and it's basically a free economic zone that is used to attract investment to Honduras. And the issue of Honduras and most of Latin American countries is that it's so hard to open a business anywhere in these countries, Brazil, Honduras, etc. There's so much corruption, so many people in between, that it's almost impossible for the locals or for foreigners even to think about investing in the country. What Prospera does is to make this as simple as opening a company in Estonia. So you can open a company in less than 24 hours, you can come here, you can invest here, it's safer, etc., 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 which is cool. What brought me here, because there are 5,000 zones of this is not special. What brought me here is that they actually want to build a city, or they want to build a community of people from all over the world that come, invest, and live here, which is very special. For me, as a digital nomad, I was looking for people like me. I was looking for other entrepreneurs and families. I wanted to come here because I think it's the first opportunity we have to actually build something from us, for us. Everything I did so far was trying to adapt something that existed to us. Ponta do Sol, Cabo Verde, Brazil, it existed, it was there, we just adapted to us. In here, we have the first opportunity to build from scratch almost. For us, it's going to be very special. So you have things like a Bitcoin center, which is the place where they promote Bitcoin. You can pay all your taxes and can open a company with Bitcoin and other crypto. There's a very special community mindset here that is very attractive for someone like me. It's very raw. This is the key. Like, it's not built yet. We have a big tower. We have around 150 people around here, and there's a lot to do. But if you have this builder mindset, if you have the mindset of I will go there to help it develop from us to us, I don't think there is a better place to be anywhere in the world. If you come here expecting everything is done, don't come. It's not. It's raw. There is a lot to do. We have a school, we have a resort, we have golf, etc. But it's not everything done. The social infrastructure is not perfect. Even infrastructure for building is not structured. The communication and the transportation is not perfect. Yet we have fast internet, we have co-working spaces, and we have people. And if you come to build, cannot think in a better place to be right now. That's why I came. I actually ended up staying. Somehow ended up as the CEO of the Roatan Tourism Bureau. So I'm actually promoting Roatan, developing the infrastructure, creating a strategy. We didn't have a strategy for the future. Now we are building a strategy for the next 5 years. And it's a lot of work, but it's building from scratch. It's fun. I love this.
Great. So I think, as far as I know about it, it's a really ambitious project which gives a lot of new answers for old questions, and it's at least very interesting to have a look and to see what is developing there and what we can learn for other countries and other areas. So really, really interesting and important. I would like to have a look at your personal situation, because you're a digital nomad. I think you've been that forever, probably. And you do that with a family with small children. And I always hear, or often hear, that's really a great lifestyle, but it's not really possible if you have children. And so it seems it is possible. And what is your experience? What do you need, especially as a family with children, doing this lifestyle?
It's so fun because we ask questions for the people who came before us, who are doing this for a long time. And we ask, okay, we want to have kids. We are nomads for 8 years now. We don't want to stop ever. How do you do this? So we learn from them. And now, after almost 3 years, my daughter is almost 3 years, I think there is no better lifestyle I could offer. The times I stop looking at her, happy, playing in the ocean, now she's learning how to dive, it's beautiful. I just think the amount of quality time I have with my daughter in beautiful places. She's learning Spanish. She's not 3 yet. She's learning Spanish, English, and Portuguese. She's diving. She was in Brazil and she was doing incredible stuff there, connecting with the people there. She has this culture adaptation that I will never have. I don't think that the quality time I have with her is parallel to anything else that other people with normal, that live in the place, that the kid goes from 9 to 5 to school, etc. have. I get to live in beautiful places. I get to move around with her. It's a way easier. The hard thing is to actually live in the place, and it's still a baby. It's still hard, of course. But I still think it's much easier because there is so much more to learn. She's always excited about different things. She's always learning different things. I know. I think it's one of the best things we could do for her. And if you really care about your kids and you want to travel, it's easy. It's not that hard. We travel. We did first. We were with her. Now she's in the school here. Then if we just change systems, but now the world is developing in a really nice way where you can have this.
Cool. But I probably can imagine that people listening to us or looking to us just ask, yeah, that's fine with such small kids, but what is when they have their school age and have to go to school? Have you already ideas how to do that?
100%. No. Again, I asked all these questions myself to the people that are doing this for many, many years. So the first thing is there is a community, a global community called World Schooling. And there are World Schooling hubs, so places where people go that have other nomadic families, and they all learn online. So what happens a lot is that kids learn online at their own timing, and then the parents usually support that. Or if they are in specific places that have a different kind of cool system, they use these systems. Like Boundless Life is a great case. It's a company that is focusing on helping nomad families to actually go to incredible places with all the school and the adult infrastructure and community. So yeah, there is so many cool companies now developing around the world, like Brave Generation Academy, World Schooling. I think it was much harder before, and people are doing this forever. I think we did it in the right timing, where our kid will have all the infrastructure, especially now with AI. It's going to be incredible.
It would be easy. Yeah, so for every problem, there's already more than one solution, and great. Gonçalo, I would like to get a little bit personal, because I had a show with, I think, around 15 interviews around the research on my Workation book. And I have 7 questions for every one of my interview partners. Short question, short answer. That's okay?
Yes, let's go.
And I really would like to have a look at the personal vacation style and experience. So when you think about your best vacation experience, what was that?
For me, it's still Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, or Pipa, a small town in Brazil, surf town in Brazil. Brazil is my happy place.
Mm-hmm. And do you still remember when did you go on your first vacation experience?
Oh yes, 100% Bali. I did the common Bali thing.
The common Bali thing. Oh, great. Okay. And what was your main impression from there?
Chaotic, yet I found my people. That was the first time wow, this is where I belong. This is my community.
Cool. And what is your favorite place to work?
Co-working spaces or cafes, ideally in Rio de Janeiro.
Okay. Yeah, it's more the circumstances than the geographic place.
Okay, so yes, I love co-working spaces.
And what is the most valuable lesson learned around vacation for yourself?
Personally, it's a lot about community. I prefer community to places. I prefer an incredible community in a more or less good place than an incredible place without community.
I'm not really surprised. Great. And what was the most embarrassing or annoying incidents happened to you?
Man, it was in Da Nang actually. So I lost the flight because I was flying through China because I was speaking in Europe and in Hungary, and I was flying to China, and the people from the airline didn't allow me to board the flight because supposedly I needed a visa. And I was stupid enough to not check that I needed a visa to have a layover in China. So I missed the plane. I was really pissed. And then some little people came against me. I screamed at them in the airport, which I never do. I'm a super chill person all the time. But because they were hit on me with a small car in the airport, it just started screaming at them. And I was really not happy. Not super proud of that one. But yeah, it was in Da Nang from all places.
Okay, so I will be careful when I be there next week.
Check the visa.
Do you still have some places or experiences on your vacation bucket list?
Oh, yeah, so many. I really want to go to Costa Rica. I really want to go to the south of Argentina. I really want to go more to Africa. Mozambique, South Africa has been on my list. I really want to go to Sri Lanka. Yeah, the world is huge.
Okay.
But now I'm really curious about China. There's lots of people going to China nowadays. I'm very curious what's really happening there.
Okay. Oh, very interesting. And when you describe your perfect vacation day, what would this like be?
I like to wake up at 6, ideally go for a workout, swim in the ocean, and then work in a co-working space from 8 something, stop at 3, and go chill with my family, go to the beach, do sports, paddle, beach volleyball, whatever. Yeah, like usually very active with 6, 7 hours of work.
Great. Very good. Very good. I think that's a great experience and interesting to share for everyone. Great. So we have to come to an end, even if I have a lot of questions more, but I would like to have a view with you together on a lot of people listening to my podcast have their own companies, are employers, are thinking about their people strategy. And we have spoke a lot about the people themselves who are going to their loved places to work. What would you recommend to employers?
I'll do a recommendation through a story. There is I did a workation in Cabo Verde when I was working with the government there, and there is this company from Spain that paid one employee that had the dream to become a nomad. They paid everything for her to come to my experience, which is like $1,000, whatever. And they paid everything. They said, no, you go live this experience as a remote worker in Cabo Verde, as long as you make sure there is internet, etc. Mm-hmm. The reality is this was 40 years ago, and she's still working for the company. So actually, giving the freedom is proven to increase retention and happiness because people feel that you trust them. It's not just where you work from, it's the freedom and the trust they feel when you allow them to make their own decisions on where they work from. In the world where most talent is just moving really, really fast, that's, from what I know, one of the best ways to keep your top talent. It's more than money. People care about money to a certain point. After that is the trust, the culture, and the feeling of belonging. That will make a difference.
Mm-hmm. Very good. I think that's one of the most important learnings, give people the freedom, and you get the loyalty and the retention back. And there's so many examples for that. And but a lot of people are really afraid of the opposite. So the other target group, let's say, like are those people who are responsible for a region. I just told for the region of the Moselle River Moselle, which is a very nice region with a good touristic infrastructure, very nice parts of the year with vineyards and a lot of nice places. When you would be responsible for such a German region, and let's talk about the Moselle, but it would be similar in other regions in Germany too. What are the 3 recommendations you would give majors and tourist responsible persons to do, and the 3 not to do?
I would make it the best place to live ever for the people who want to work remotely. So build a co-working space. I would say free or cheap co-working space. I think co-working space is going to be public. If you have a public library, you can adapt it to become a co-working space. It's perfect. It's a win-win situation. Make sure you have the activities and the places for people to live. If you only have hotel rooms, you don't have a kitchen, or they don't have a small kitchen, it would not actually work. So make sure that you have places where you would live for 3 months, for example. That's a great green thing. And then it's about the community. Make sure that if you don't hire someone full-time, maybe it's too early, make sure that you have someone in your team or whatever that is responsible for connecting people, that really likes an extroverted person who misses to connect with people that are coming. That's it. They will be super happy because they're trusted with this job. You will have a person that will be responsible for welcoming people. The people coming will feel 10 times better. They feel they cracked the code because it's so much easier to adapt when we have someone guiding us. And then it's about marketing. Don't promote that you are the best at this or that. Honestly, make real videos with real people with the activities there. If it's a badminton place, if it's a winery place, just show people do things, be natural. And that is the best marketing you can have nowadays. Just real people saying real things about the place. Also take their feedback. If they say there is no sports here, therefore I don't want to live there, I don't know, build a volleyball court. Ask them whatever they are looking for. There is usually a trend there. And here it's very clear, we need more sports. Okay, let's make sure we have sports clubs in the future. So make sure you listen as well. That's it.
From your experience, I think a lot of people think a lot on investing in some bricks and rooms and infrastructure, and there's less effort on community building, marketing, storytelling, all those things you speak about. What would you recommend for the start? From there is no real development in that area. There is no remote work culture. There's no, even people don't know if there are already offers and if it's already used. So it's not it's not a conscious real target group in the tourism industry there in the moment. But what would you recommend to bring that momentum in it and to start the development?
I would say one very easy way to start is open a free week for people. So imagine select 10 people, open applications, and tell that for 10 days we'll give you accommodation for free and local experiences for free in exchange for your feedback. That's it. It's a low investment. You can partner with the local tourism operators. You promote this all over the place. We are doing a free workation for 10 people. We just want to create content and to give me your feedback about this region, what we could do better. That's an easy way, no money involved, and you will learn from the people that are already remote workers how to make it better for welcome more of these people, and free content.
Okay, great, very good. So I think that's a very good ideas, and we spoke about that. I will just give a short part of the interview and take it with me to the workshop and probably bring your idea. Do you have any, let's say, any message for the region of the Moselle?
I think we have this incredible opportunity that nobody took yet of really change how people live and recover areas that were forgotten because we lost so many people for the cities. I think if we build a community, if we build the perfect work conditions, because now we work remotely, we can literally move and create vibrant, incredible, beautiful, cultural rich communities anywhere in the world. So if it's a good place to live, I am sure it has a huge opportunity to actually attract people. It just has to do the steps right. It's not complicated. it's easy actually, but you need to do the right steps. And it takes time, it's not fast, but it's very, very fulfilling. And you can change the whole future of the region just by doing the right thing.
Cool. So that's a very, very important thing I can take with me to the workshop, and then we get back to you with the feedback and probably some results. I have to ask for Cabo Verde because I've been there 2 years ago, and I was really excited on the culture, on the cultural mix there, and just give me a little idea what you did there and what's the situation of the community in Cabo Verde.
So I worked with Cabo Verde government for 1 year, and I decided on the whole strategy for their Digital Nomad program. My idea was, again, to build a community, so we brought people, we educated the local accommodations, etc. I chose Mindelo in São Vicente because it's the cultural island. We could have chosen Praia, or I could have chosen Sal, which is the obvious choice, Santa Maria. But it's boring. If you go to Africa, you should experience Africa and not another tourism resort. So, against the will of the government, I chose Mindelo, which was great. Everybody who went there loved it. It's a little bit raw still, but the culture is just beautiful and incredible, and the people are so cool. I believe we failed for one reason, which was air connectivity, which is being solved since then. This was 3-4 years ago. But we had only one flight from TAP. This was still in the end of the pandemic. And so the flights were like $1,000 from Portugal, which was ridiculous back then. You could fly all the way to Asia for the same price. Right now they have low costs. They have way more flights. I know there is something happening there, but the community is not growing. There are new efforts with Ana Maria Kochanska, but it's not developing a lot. Still, the conditions are there. It's a great place. It's super safe, especially Mindelo. And it's honestly one of the richest. It's like a Africa light. That's how I put it. Africa, but it's Africa. It's like island life. People are slower, and it's beautiful. And the culture, the music, especially, it's outstanding.
I have Mindelo on my bucket list, so I only made it to Sal and Santa Maria, and Mindelo was on my list, and it was too expensive, too long to come there. That was really the reason I've never been there. But when I'm doing that, then I give you an information before, and you can give me some recommendations.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Gonçalo, that is really great. Last question, your main steps and projects looking to 2026? What are the things
for now,
you will focus on?
For now, 100% try to develop Roatan. Just being in Honduras I like to work with underdogs. So being in Honduras is being a underdog, and being in the Caribbean, competing with all these incredible Caribbean locations is a underdog. And we can build something from scratch for us, for remote workers, for people who want to build things. So I'll stay here for a while. Other than that, I'm developing my newsletter, Destination Architects. I finally found myself and what I really like, and I found a word for myself. So I'm really having a lot of fun in that newsletter. It's on Substack. And I want to create more. I think this year is going to be, I have a lot of random things around the world, from events to projects and governments. I want to start to put everything together and make it more compact, so that it's more, maybe I can have a higher impact. I think I was too spread out around the world. Maybe now I can provide better information, I can provide better knowledge to everyone with our experience, our mistakes. I share a lot of mistakes in my newsletter on purpose. And hopefully with that, we can finally unstuck all these regions that have so much potential, but they don't know yet how to do it, or they don't do it 100% as they should.
Cool. That's a great mission, and I'm really curious on what will happen and what will develop, and really looking forward to do the one or the other thing together. So that was a great talk. Thank you very much, Gonçalo, and have a really great time and a great impact with your work.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.